सिडनी में भारत और ऑस्ट्रेलिया के बीच में तीसरा टेस्ट मैच हो रहा है, लेकिन उससे पहले चर्चा में आया था मंजीत वॉल्फ। एक रेस्टोरेंट है जो कि बहुत काफी पॉपुलर है, लेकिन वो चर्चा में इसलिए आया क्योंकि एक फ्रॉड हुआ है मीट एंड ग्रीट नाम का, जिसमें इंडियन क्रिकेटर्स का नाम भी यूज किया गया और रेस्टोरेंट का भी किया गया। लेकिन ये पूरा फ्रॉड क्या था, कैसे हुआ और अब सिचुएशन क्या है, इसके लिए हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए हैं मिस्टर दीप गुजराल, जो कि ओनर हैं मंजीत वॉल्फ के। गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
Good morning, sir. How are you?
ये पूरे मीडिया में फैल गया है, ऑल ओवर मीडिया वी नो दैट दिस हैज हैपेंड, एक फ्रॉड हुआ है, लेकिन वी विल लाइक नो फ्रॉम द हॉर्सेस माउथ कि एग्जैक्टली व्हाट दिस फ्रॉड इज एंड हाउ इट हैपेंड।
So, कैसे हुआ है? It was basically we were approached by this individual. One of my staff were approached by them at the restaurant. First of all, it's very important to understand the operation that we have. It's a fine dine, well-established restaurant. We've been in the market for the last 30 years. It's on the water. It's one of those very premium destination dining locations. So the reason I bring this up is very apt because it's a very high-end restaurant in terms of what we offer to the customers and the clientele. And we have very high-profile celebrities and et cetera, attending the restaurant all the time. We got approached by this individual who wanted to essentially hold a meet and greet night for the Indian cricketers. And basically, it was a operation for about 200 people at the restaurant. In fact, it was 20 tables of 10, and every table was to have a player on it. And guests would purchase tickets at 550 Australian dollars per person. Now, you can do the equations and the calculations for the Indian currency and whatnot. However, that was the end, and we were charging a certain amount out of that. And this individual will then essentially sell the tickets in a variety of sources. The conditions of booking are essentially you have to pay a deposit amount as well as sign a terms and conditions contract. And you have exclusive use of that restaurant that evening on the Tuesday night in the peak summer period, which is a very busy time for us. This client came and we have a deposit amount of $5,000 to secure the date. And this gentleman came, well, this fraudster came, and he only paid $2,000 in cash and did a runaway from there. After he left, we constantly chased up the rest of the money, and this proceeded for a couple of weeks, few weeks afterwards. However, there was no contact of him, and there was always excuses of not coming back to put the deposit down. In the meantime, he started advertising this meet and greet night, this function, and it got to a point whereby we got a little bit concerned that, look, what's going on? On the other side of our operation, we have an events division. And our events division looks after all the caterers, all the caterings, big events, big parties, all that sort of thing. We got approached by a variety of sources, genuine, credible sources like the Intercontinental Hotel, five-star hotels, the stadium, which is the Sydney Cricket Ground, where the players are playing, as well as a variety of different places where the players will be touring around for catering needs for the players. So we unofficially became the officially caterers of the Indian cricket team whilst they're staying in Australia. The fraudster didn't know this. And due to my dealings with the Indian cricketers and meeting them every day and feeding them, and they used to come and visit the restaurant on a regular basis, and they used to put on their own social media, and we also used to promote it on our social media as well. I came to know that this event is actually not happening. It's a fraud event, and they were advised not to attend this particular event that was scheduled. Because we had not received the deposit on the other side, and we had received the terms and conditions, I went and approached this fraudster and said, look, now it's time to sit down and start planning your function. I'd like to meet with you to discuss the menu, the timings, the decorations, the color scheme, the decor, all these things that go into the event itself.
Right.
From this point on, I took on the proceedings from all the staff and said, look, I will personally handle this. I don't want any of my staff to handle this. So the man made the appointment to come and see us. He didn't turn up. He made another appointment to see us. He didn't turn up. He made a third appointment. He didn't turn up. There was a lot of dodging and weaving and slipping and sliding, and he didn't turn up to a single appointment. It got to the point where we had to reply back to him and say, look, we're not doing this function now. You can go somewhere else. Stop advertising. In the meantime, we're receiving phone calls left, right, and center of people that want to book for this dinner, this gala dinner at one of our establishments. It's a very busy restaurant. We have a 4-week waiting list just book in a table for the restaurant itself. So for us to give a Tuesday night in peak summer period is a big deal, especially if it's the whole restaurant.
Right.
So I said to him, look, I'm not going to commit any further to your event. You need to stop advertising. Unbeknownst to us, he continued to advertise through a lot of, obviously, the social media, but he also advertised on all the flyers that he used to put on all the cars of guests that used to attend the event, which also multiplied the amount of phone calls that used to come. We used to get, yes, and we used to receive emails quite a bit. We said, look, at the end of the day, this event's not happy. We constantly told them, and we also informed the police. We informed the right authorities as well. Look, in Australia, we have a scam watch, and we report such scams. They say, look, this is not good. If he had sold 200 tickets at $550 per ticket, that's $110,000 he's pocketed.
Exactly.
His aim was to sell these tickets and not appear at the event and run away. Once we got on the media and it brought a lot of attention to it, we have a lot of contacts within the media itself. It brought a lot of attention to it. The police got involved and they took it very seriously. They got hold of the guy, and then the police investigations are continuing from this point forth.
So the person,
without my knowledge of connecting with the Indian cricket team, I would not have known that this was happening in the background, that this event is a complete fraud.
So, Mr. Deep, it was the Indian cricket team or the management that came to you and told you that this is happening?
No, the Indian team and management said, I said to them, look, I understand this is an event, someone's advertising, they booked one of my venues. They said, look, we're not aware of it. There was a little bit of digging and a bit of sleuthing that we had to do and find out what's going on. And then we realized this is a scam. He hasn't attended any of the meetings. He hasn't attended any of the appointments. He hasn't paid his full deposit. He hasn't done the protocols. And more so than anything, we've been in this business for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
We understand clients when they come through the front door. We know what a client's going to ask, what sort of questions they're going to ask before they book a function. That's when we knew that this was something not right.
So when was the first time that this chap came to you and gave you deposit money, and all through that you were in contact with him on phone?
Well, essentially, as I said at the beginning, my staff was in contact with him. I have a team of staff in our events department that essentially liaised with him and has been liaising with him. However, once things started getting a bit fishy, I said, look, I will be taking proceedings from here on. So you all need to step back.
So how many tickets he sold, the fraudster?
Unfortunately, I can't disclose that just yet because the police are investigating further. But let's just say it's a number. And we've been receiving a few phone calls directly. But thankfully, we've got hold of the media. And we let people know well in time that this event is a scam. This event is not happening. This event he's basically swindled a lot of people's money. What I can give you assurance is the person has been caught and he has started refunding the money back to the people that have in fact scammed them.
So
the people
as far as I know, the event was planned for 5th of January, I think.
Correct.
Did the people turn up at your restaurant? And what was your reaction?
We had some connections. Look, everyone was quite understanding. There was police on standby. What my fear was especially during this very tumultuous time of COVID, we have a very strict protocol of social distancing. We have very strict protocols of wearing masks, about gaps within the restaurant and all that sort of thing. I didn't want to see 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 people at the front door of my restaurant saying, look, we have booked tickets to a particular dinner. Anyone who did appear and didn't have a ticket, we still factored that in and we still looked after them with a meal from our side as a gesture of goodwill from our company.
Can you reveal the identity of that person? वो बंदा कौन है जिसने ये fraud किया है? क्योंकि वो पकड़ा गया आपने बताया.
Hanji, unfortunately, due to the police investigation that's currently taking place, I don't think I could mention his name. However, allegedly, he'd done some pretty bad things, and he has a very colorful history. Let's just say that.
He's Indian or Australian?
Once again, that's something I prefer not to disclose. But Yeah.
And how
I
the
prefer
police
not to mention it.
and how the police tracked him? कैसे track कैसे किया? क्योंकि ठीक है आप लोगों ने initiative लिया था.
It was a little bit scheming on our side. When we told him we would cancel his function and we'd like to refund his deposit back, we found out first of all his mobile phone number was a prepaid number, so it was not linked with anything. When he paid the money in deposits, he paid it in cash, so there was no link, there was no background check on that. However, when I said to him I would like to refund your money back, he replied back with his account details. I said, I'm not giving you cash because we don't work with cash. We work with everything legitimately and we have a very clean operation. Please send me your account details. He got excited that he's receiving his money back. We get those account details to the police and they tracked it backwards from there.
And how much money was that you wanted to refund him or give him back?
It was only a small amount. It was only a small $2,000, which was the initial deposit.
Right.
So he thought he could be a little extra smart by getting that money back. However, at the end of the day, it was, I guess, the swindler got swindled.
Mr. Deep, आपका ही रेस्टोरेंट क्यों चुना उसने? आपको क्यों लगता है कि क्यों आपका ही रेस्टोरेंट क्यों चुना? सिडनी में काफी रेस्टोरेंट्स हैं.
No, look, we are the only fine dining, chef-headed, Michelin-starred Indian restaurant in not just Sydney but in Australia. We have a spectacular view of all of Darling Harbour. It has become the quintessential dining destination of most of the tourists that come. So when they come over here, one of the first places they visit, including the cricketers, if anyone jumps on our social media, they'll see there's cricketers coming every second day, viewing, coming for dinner, but they want their privacy. And they have certain requirements with COVID protocols that they have to sit outside. We have an outside area where we sit them down, we seal them off so they don't get interrupted or disrupted by other guests in the restaurant itself. They also are people and they want their own dining experience and we look after them separately. But essentially, we understand such protocols, we understand such needs that our clientele has, and we look to look after our guests in such needs as well. Apart from the fact that obviously the food is very good, I'll be giving a little promo to my restaurant if I say that. But our food is very uniquely Indian, but with very modern touches, and I think that's what drives people there.
इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम के साथ कब से एसोसिएशन है आपकी as far as catering and all?
काफी साल से चल रहा है. My dad's got a very good link with some of the players, and he grew up with some of the players that have now the next generation. For example, Sunil Gavaskar and my dad know each other, and Sunil Gavaskar's like as you get to know them over the years, you also see their requirements. Like Sunil's very much into his biryani. He loves his lamb biryani. So we've not only looked after him at the matches with lamb biryani, we also look after him. He requires requirements at the hotel, getting it sent over to them after the matches and all. Kohli is obviously he's very much into his very alkaline vegetarian vegan sort of meals. So obviously that sort of requirements need to be catered for. All these sort of requirements we have, we endeavor to look after our clientele.
Indian cricket team, which is currently the Indian cricket team, जो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में खेल रही है, वो आती है आपके रेस्टोरेंट में और which is the recipe?
They come quite often, and they have their own requirements. Certain people are vegetarian, certain people are obviously meat eaters, some people have certain requirements. They in fact message me or call me directly because they all have my direct number now. So they actually call me directly and say, Karan bhai, can you get arrange some particular lamb curry, or Karan bhai, can you please a mutton particular dish they want, or they want a vegetarian dish of some sort. So from my hotel, from my restaurant where it's located to where the hotel is, it's a very short distance. To get the food out to them is not a problem at all. And it's actually a pleasure to look after our Indian community as well. So I'm 100% Team India. So anything I can do to support them, I'll do it.
Being an Indian, जैसे India is a cricket-loving nation, so people will like to know. अगर मैं बात करूँ अजिंक्य रहाणे, रोहित शर्मा, कोहली, कौन सी रेसिपीज इनको ज़्यादा पसंद हैं? अगर आप बता पाएंगे.
Well, हर बंदे की different. They have different requirements. For example, Pandey, Miss Pandey came down and he really enjoyed a couple of vegetarian dishes that we had. Look, every player has his own requirements. And Mohammed Shami, he's a big meat eater. He likes his mutton. He likes his red meat. He likes his lamb cutlets. Those were his favorite sort of dishes. There are a few players that like they have their certain things, and it's a pleasure to look after them, in terms of what their meal requirements are. If you ask me off the top of my head which each player likes and what sort of dishes they like, I can look it up in terms of Umesh Yadav. Yeah. In fact, so much so he's a huge fan of vegetarian dishes. So he visits almost every second day. And so he loves his bangan. He loves his mixed vegetable, like the Navarathan style, korma style dishes. So it's like I said, whatever they like, it's our pleasure to be here. And then we offer them not just the Indian dishes that you would have in India, but modern twists on Indian dishes, fusion dishes. My brother's a skilled professional chef, and his area of expertise is molecular gastronomy. So some of the theater that goes along with the dishes really appeals to them as well. Some of the players have brought their families along as well. So we're looking after their wives and children as well while they're here as well. So it is a pleasure. Like I said, us Indians are, I love it. I'll be honest with you.
तो जितने भी लोग उस दिन आए, चाहे वो फ्रॉस्टर पकड़ा गया है, जितने भी लोग आए, तो उनको फिर खाना वाना खिलाया आप लोगों ने?
हाँ जी, जरूर. Look, there's an element of business and there's an element of heart. And I love to take this approach. Money's money at the end of the day. They came, they ate, they enjoyed the meal. We looked after them. And at the end of the day, yes, they were a victim, but I always invest in goodwill. Those that come, if they were overseas tourists that had arrived, unfortunately due to COVID, there's not much tourism. But there were situations, for example, if you think about it, a young boy, his dream is to meet some of the players over there. And I'm using this as an example. Yeah. He saved up his money, he saved up his pocket money to come and attend this function. Maybe dad brought him along and all that sort of thing. Disappointed. But at least, chalo bato khana khao, be our guest that night. Yes, the players are not here at the moment, but they will return and they will, while they're staying in Sydney, I'm sure they always come down anyway. Like I said, I can't say how many at the moment due to police investigations. It's very strict protocols we have over here regarding what information we can and cannot disclose.
अब कब पकड़ा कब गया वो फ्रॉस्टर कब पकड़ा गया ये बता
उसी दिन in that morning
5th January 5th January
in the morning like I mentioned.
तो जैसे आपने बताया कि इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम के साथ आपके काफी पुराने रिश्ते हैं काफी टाइम से आप बिजनेस करते हैं उनके साथ तो आपने ये बताई फिर खबर उनको तो क्या रिएक्शन था इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम का या मैनेजमेंट का
they came to the restaurant itself and they were dining there and then we brought it up at that time and they said look we don't know about this and this is new to us and there's no function whilst they were dining at the restaurant because they came for the T20 they also came for the one-day ODIs and we were looking after all their catering at that time and as I said the restaurant wasn't too far away from the hotel that they were staying in so they used to visit the restaurant they used to have a beautiful dining experience and as I said it was very important for us to stay within their protocols of their COVID restrictions and everything like that. And we ticked all those boxes, which was very good for both parties. And privacy was very important, so we made sure that was there as well. But once they advised us that this event is not happening, we had a hunch anyway. It was not something that just, we've been doing this business for a long time and we know what's right and what's wrong and who's genuine and who's just out to get fishing for quotes and fishing for information. So
as a businessman कितना स्ट्रेस था इस सारी चीज का जब ये हुआ कि मीट एंड ग्रीट इवेंट हो रहा है टिकट्स जा रही हैं लोग खरीद रहे हैं and especially your association with the Indian cricket team तो as a hotelier कितना stressful था ये
Look, it wasn't from a businessman's point of view. It wasn't stressful from a financial point of view. Let me start by saying that. Yes, as I said, money is important, but it's not important when this goodwill is more important. We are in the business of ensuring our customers are looked after first. Our clients are looked after first. They walk away happy with smiles on their face. We are, at the end of the day, hospitality people. So when it comes to the element of the stress level that I was experiencing, it was more so from an element of, I have 200 people at the front of my door that may not be happy. Whether it was caused by me, the customers are also not idiots. They realize, they understand. We still want to make good on that. Thankfully, there wasn't 200. There was very, very little people. And because there was very, very little people, it solved our problem nice and early because we had good measures in place with the media.
Like cricket is a religion in India. You being an Indian,
absolutely.
You know that.
Absolutely.
लोग disappoint हुए होंगे आके कि पूछा नहीं आपसे भी सर वो cricketers कहाँ हैं आए नहीं?
No, look, because I said the numbers were quite low, we had good media coverage, we had understanding, and those people got refunded their money. That was the other big thing. The blow was a lot less for them. As a net loss for the person who would have attended, it would have been fine. They would have had a beautiful meal at a great location on the water with spectacular views, great service, good food, and coupled with that, they got their money back.
तो जो फ्रॉडस्टर है, अब आपने बताया मुझे कि पुलिस ने पकड़ लिया है, तो वो रिफंड कर रहा है सबके पैसे, वो कर रहा है?
Yes, he had to refund it. He had to refund, and he, in fact, I think he has done all that. So the chapter is coming to a close. I'm just waiting on the green light from the police, who will give me the official yes, it's over. The case is the file is closed. He's refunded the money, and then we can all move on with our lives. But the spin-off on that is obviously, besides the good name that we've had, it does bring our name. Well, it did worry me that it brought our name in disrepute. We have tried very hard to establish a fantastic name in the community, not just in Australia and Sydney, however, in India as well, because we have had situations, we always have situations where marriage proposals take place. People travel from overseas looking forward to coming to Sydney just to dine at the restaurant. So when we offer this to them, it makes us very proud to offer this to our clientele as well. So when something bad happens that's associated with the Manjeet's name, that's a little bit disheartening. However, people once again are more understanding. They're quite empathetic of the situation, or I should say sympathetic of the situation, and hence they understand, which makes the blow a lot more softer.
Now, when the team is in Sydney, तो अभी भी खाना पहुंचा रहे हैं उनके लिए?
आप जानना चाहते हो what exactly dishes they had for lunch today? I can give you that meal menu as well. What they had for lunch, what they have for dinner, what they had in post-match, what they had in pre-match. I've got the whole menus here. So
सिडनी में है?
हाँ जी,
क्योंकि सिडनी में है, तो इंटरेस्टिंग होगा आप क्या खा रही है भारतीय टीम?
हाँ जी, no, I've got all the menus here. In fact, so I was just looking through. We're getting all preparations now done for tomorrow's match. So tomorrow, what they're having when they arrive through and their bhurji, for example, they prefer to have, and boiled eggs. It's a very high protein, low carb diet. They're very conscious. All the players are very conscious of what goes in their mouth, which is fantastic, and I fully endorse and support that. In terms of, it's not like it's not for them a gastronomic experience at the match. Their aim is to play. That's the first focus, and it's very well respected and very well taken on. And I have a lot of respect for that as well.
Right. So at Burji, they are looking for lunch tomorrow.
No, Burji is breakfast tomorrow. Andeke Burji is breakfast tomorrow, and then lunches they have a mutton curry. It's a very, as I said, very high protein diet. They've got a palak lasan. They've got there's a number of dishes that they've requested, and that will be provided to them and looked after them.
Thank you so much, Deep, and it was great talking to you. और
likewise,
luckily, which is great news कि वो fraudster जो था जिसने काफी लोगों को innocent लोगों के पैसे लिए वो पकड़ा गया. Thank you.
I must say our Australian government, Australian police are very good. They're very thorough. They do their due diligence, and I'm very thankful for them to be able to come to a resolution on this. And with our name in the community, coupled with that, and our TV show, people understood that, look, these people are genuine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
ABP Sonja, Josh, Jazba, Junoon.